Hi, Tracy here, and I have layout number 4 in my beach layout series. And this one is titled I Treasure You. This is a layout that I've been using lots of mixed media lately, as you know, if you watch my videos. And this one is no exception. This one I definitely went outside of my box, my comfort zone box, which you will also see as we go along here. So I was gessoing the background, the cardstock, and I had some leftover gesso, so I just threw it on an art card so I didn't waste it. And so I knew I was going to be doing some watercolor on this page, and so that's why I went ahead and gessoed the background. And I'm using my heat gun to dry it quick because I was impatient to wait for it to dry. And then I'm gonna draw, I'm using a flower paper from a Scraptastic kit on this one, and I'm kind of mimicking it. I'm gonna freehand draw some flowers, somewhat copying some flowers from that paper. Not really, but sort of. And then after I'm done drawing them, I'm going to watercolor them with the Studio Calico crayons that you can see to the right there. And I just went for it. I did not pencil this in at all. I just decided to go ahead and use the Pitt pen straight. And I was able to do that because this was a real sketchy drawing. The paper the flowers are like that too. And so I was able to just, if you ever make a mistake when you're drawing this type of drawing, then you just can fake it and make it look like you meant it, the mistake. So that's why I felt pretty brave going ahead with this. So there's my first flower. And then now I'm drawing leaves. This one I make going off the page a bit. This layout took me over 2 hours total. Actually, I did some one day and then finished it up the next day because I wasn't able to finish because I had to go pick up kids. So this was definitely a long layout time-wise, but it was because I did all this drawing and then painting, and it was all stuff that I just absolutely thoroughly enjoy doing. So I did not mind that it took a long time. So I'm using my water brush. Forget what you call those, the ones they are self-watering. And so then I'm mixing colors a little bit there too. I'm coloring in with one, and then I'll add other colors to it. It's hard to know how it's going to react with the color of the paper behind it. So on the leaves I'm adding blue for the shading. I don't have a lot of these crayons. The last time I used them, I believe I even said that I went straight to my computer and ordered them, which I did, and they are on the way, but they are not here yet. And now I'm going to watercolor around the outside and create sort of the background. So the flowers have some weight. on this bottom flower, I love the way the background came out. It was far more subtle. On the top flower, I am going to do another flower on the top right. I went a little too wild with the background and don't love that one as much, but that's all right. Here I'm thinking, what kind of flower do I want, and how do I want it to look, and what color do I want it to be? No, I'm just creating like shading detail with the pen. And now I'm going to draw some leaves. And now once again, time to color and paint. Love these, the watercolor brush or water brush or whatever you call that. Love it. There's about where I should have stopped with the background. But I don't. I keep going. This is one of those times where I'm trying to fix something, thinking it needs fixing, and don't really do any good. I had gone in with like the red, or it might have been the bronze, I don't know. And I just really didn't like it, so that's why I had to come back here with the blue and really kind of go wild with the blue. Yeah, now I'm going to do some stamping. I have this cardboard sitting on my desk, so I thought I'll do some of that. And then I have a little polka dot stamp that I'm going to be using. That's a Hero Arts ink pad. Something tomato. Can't remember what it's called. Tomato paste, maybe? And now I'm going to use this matte gel because when it dries clear and you really can't see it at all. It's matte, so there's no glare or anything from it. And so I'm using it to just randomly glue some of these beads on, just for texture and little sparkle for the layout. And I thought I was going to dry them with, I really wanted to see how it was going to look before I went and put others, but and now actually I realize, oh, I need to mat this paper or this entire layout, so I went and cut down some of it. And now I'm going to glue it down. These beads are from, I think they were my daughter's, from some kit she got, or some, I don't know. We've had them forever. They've been tucked away, and they were just perfect for this layout. I was really trying to do 2 pictures, but it just wasn't going to work. So now I'm going to start trying to embellish, which is a little difficult with the prominence of the painting. And then I pull out these vellum pieces, the Maggie Holmes ephemera, and that works out nicely because it's a little more subtle. And it goes with the flowers. Now it's just a matter of figuring out where do I want to put them and which ones am I going to use. But I know I am going to use these for sure. And it also helped to create a cohesiveness between the 4 layouts, since they will be in a scrapbook together, because I use those on, I think, almost every layout. I didn't use them on the one of my son. I have 3 of my son. The last layout, the one of my son Chad. But I did do the jelly plate on that, and that kind of goes with this hand painting. So anyway, there is using the vellum pieces still. It did help a little bit with bringing the layouts together. Because on the other 2, Matthew's and Kyle's, I do use vellum. And then I did go ahead and paint up there just to, create that cohesiveness. And it kind of helped. It helps with that flub on the right with the overpainting. It makes it look a little more intentional. And here I think I'm going to mat this flower because I was wanting it to stick up a little more. I didn't want it to lay flat. But I do not care for it matted at all. So I end up pulling it off of that mat. And now I'm going to go through all kinds of trouble trying to figure out which word do I want to use. And I really liked the sentiment, "I treasure you," in the gold there. But I just was not liking the gold so much. It was just too shiny. Looking at it here, it looks good. And I did like it. I just didn't love it. So I am liking the cluster up at the top left, although I change it. But at that moment, I thought I liked it. I just changed it a little bit. So now I'm going to do the watercolor around the edges here. And I'm also going to, there we go, there's my Pitt pen. I'm outlining, and I'm outlining multiple times and very sloppily so that it really goes with that whole sketchy look of the pictures that I drew, the flowers that I drew. And now I'm just wetting my finger and running it across where I had put the watercolor crayon, because I don't want this paper to be too wet. That would just make it a mess and it would get all wrinkly and warbly. So I just put just as much water as I needed, as opposed to using the brush and really soaking it. So I'm still thinking I'm going to use that I Treasure You piece, which is not the piece that I end up with. And these other pieces have gold in them as well. And for whatever reason, that gold just was not feeling right for me. It was just, normally I like a mix of dull and shiny, or, you know, perfect with not so perfect, or I don't know, usually I like that, but this time I was not liking it. I do like these, the way the words, the writing looks of those other ones that are written in black. Like that one says Happy Heart. But I just don't like any of the words. I really like the I Treasure You sentiment, which I finally found. I had that in the piece there. And so that's what I go with. And as I'm gluing these, I realize, wow, I like it better with the gold. You know, I like them glued down backwards, actually, upside down, better than with the gold showing. And now I'm just going to add some beads around both of those areas. I used up almost that whole little vial of beads there on this layout. So there's my close-ups, and I hope you have enjoyed this layout. This is definitely a different one for me. And that is the last in my series, my beach layout series. So I hope you've enjoyed the series as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.